I asked my son casually, "So, when's the wedding?" Expecting the usual shy smile, the vague answers, the, "Soon, Dad." Instead, my daughter-in-law turned toward me with a sparkle in her eyes and said, "We got married yesterday." For a moment I thought she was joking, but the way she held my son's hand, tight, nervous, excited, told me she meant every word. My heart skipped a beat, as if the world had jumped ahead without asking me to catch up. I looked at my son, waiting for an explanation, but he just lowered his eyes like a boy who had done something brave yet terrifying. My first instinct wasn't anger, it was confusion. Why didn't they tell me? Why wasn't I there? I imagined them signing papers quietly, no family, no music, no celebrations, just two young people choosing each other in a silent room. My daughter-in-law bit her lip as if reading all those thoughts on my face. She said softly, "It wasn't planned, Baba. It just happened. We were scared, and we didn't know how to say it." Those words struck deeper than any argument could have. My son finally looked up and stepped closer, his voice shaking as he said, "Dad, I wanted you there. I swear." But everything got so overwhelming. Her family wasn't agreeing, mine was far away, and we thought maybe this is the only way we stay together. His shoulders trembled, not from regret but from the weight of carrying such a decision alone. I saw a man who had loved fiercely enough to risk everything. I took a long breath and sat down, letting the news settle. The house suddenly felt smaller, filled with emotions instead of furniture. She stood there, unsure whether she should sit, leave, or cry. I realized then that this girl, who once seemed distant and shy, now looked like someone clinging to hope. She whispered, "We didn't want to hurt you. We just wanted to start our life without losing each other." For a moment, I remembered being their age, thinking the world would collapse if love slipped through your fingers. Maybe I would have done the same. I looked at my son's trembling hands holding hers, and instead of seeing rebellion, I saw fear. Not fear of me, fear of losing the person standing next to him. That softened something inside me I didn't know needed softening. I asked them to sit, and slowly, cautiously, they did. Her eyes glistened like she expected me to scold her. My son kept rubbing her hand as if reassuring her. I cleared my throat and said, "A wedding is a day. A marriage is a lifetime. If you two chose each other for life, then the day doesn't matter as much as you think." Their faces changed instantly, surprise mixing with relief. But I wasn't done. I looked at my son and asked, "Why didn't you trust me enough to tell me earlier?" His face fell, and he said, "Because I didn't want you to think I was rushing or being irresponsible. I wanted you to be proud, not disappointed." Hearing that felt like someone pressed a hand on my chest. I realized he had been carrying the pressure of my expectations more heavily than I ever intended. She squeezed his arm gently and added, "We thought you'd say no. We thought you'd ask us to wait, and maybe the waiting would separate us." Her voice shook at the end, and I understood then that their marriage wasn't a rebellion, it was protection. Protection of a love they feared the world might not let survive. I leaned back, letting their words sink in. I had always believed I was a supportive father, yet they had been too afraid to tell me the most important moment of their lives. That realization stung, but it also made me determined. I didn't want fear to be part of this new chapter. I wanted to be someone they could come to, not hide from. I stood up, walked to them, and placed my hands on their shoulders. Both froze. They were expecting anger, but I said, "If you two are truly happy, then I am happy too." Her eyes filled instantly, and my son grabbed my hand like he used to when he was little. That moment felt like a bridge rebuilding itself between us. Then I surprised even myself by saying, "But if you think you're escaping a celebration, you're wrong. We're having a proper wedding. Whether you like it or not." They both laughed for the first time since entering the room, relief washing over them like sunlight after a storm. She said shyly, "But Baba, it was a court wedding. No dress, no photos, no ceremony." I smiled and said, "Then we'll make new memories. Memories you won't be afraid to tell anyone." My son looked at her the way only a man in love looks, like he was seeing his entire future sitting beside him. We began discussing small details, nothing fancy, just family, food, and blessings. But I noticed how she kept smiling at the word, family, as if she wasn't sure she had one until now. I felt something shift in me, a sense of responsibility not just toward my son but toward this young woman who had just become part of our lives. Hours passed, and the room felt warm again. They told me everything, the rushed decision, the excitement, the fear, the moment they realized they couldn't wait anymore. Listening to them made me realize how young love isn't reckless, it's courageous. They didn't run away from responsibility. They ran toward each other. As they got up to leave, I hugged them both and said, "Your wedding was yesterday. But your family begins today." She wiped her tears and smiled the kind of smile that comes only after feeling accepted. My son whispered, "Thank you, Dad," and in that moment, I knew that even though I missed the wedding, I hadn't missed the beginning of something beautiful. Subscribe to this channel and like it, thank you.